Part 2. I memorized the handsome guy in my dream, but it turns out he is a ... At first, the screen was pitch black. Then something shifted slow, dragging, like wood scraping. A pale face appeared. Not perfectly shaped like his profile photo, no. This one was sunken, swollen, smeared with dirt. His eyes, milky and unfocused, stared straight at us. The room fell completely silent. Then he spoke, only it wasn't speaking. It was a wet, choking sound like soil and water clogging his throat. Behind him, thin beams of light pushed through wooden cracks, like he was inside a box. A wooden box. Buried. Still holding the phone. My trembling finger reached out to hang up, but the screen flickered. Something thudded loudly once, twice like fists pounding wood from the inside. Then his pale hand pressed against the camera, slowly dragging down, leaving brown streaks. Dirt. My phone vibrated violently. A message popped up on my screen. I found you. The dorm leader screamed, "Drop the phone." I threw it across the room. The lights instantly died. The air turned icy. And from the darkness behind me, we all heard it. That same heavy, dragging sound, like something climbing out of the ground trying to get in. The night he video called us, none of us slept. The dorm leader locked the door and shoved a chair under the handle. My best friend unplugged my phone, wrapped it in a towel, and threw it in the bottom drawer. But that didn't stop anything, because something started knocking on our door at 3:12 a.m. Not knocking like a person. Number. Slow, heavy like dirt-soaked knuckles hitting wood. Thud. 3 seconds. Thud. None of us moved. The dorm leader whispered, "Don't answer. If you acknowledge it, it comes in." We covered ourselves with blankets like children, pretending not to breathe. Then my hidden phone started vibrating violently inside the drawer. Bzzz, bzzz, bzzz. When my friend opened it, the screen said, "Incoming video call." The same number. The same dead man. But the worst part, the timestamp on the call showed 3:12 a.m. Same minute something outside knocked. We didn't answer. We couldn't. The vibration suddenly stopped. We relaxed for 2 seconds. Then my phone called him. By itself. The screen showed my own face reflected faintly in the black screen. But right behind my reflection was another face. His. Pressed against my shoulder. We screamed. The door knob rattled violently. Not human, furious, jerky, desperate. The dorm leader shouted, "He's looking for you. He marked you the moment you added him." My breath froze. How do I break it? She pointed at the phone. "You need to return what he's looking for." I never took anything from him. You did. Part 3. I memorized the handsome guy in my dream, but it turns out he is a ... She swallowed hard. He gave you his attention, his time, his longing. The dead don't give anything for free. The phone screen cracked by itself, spider webbing from the inside. Then a message appeared automatically, typed letter by letter. Open the door. We didn't. The knocking stopped. Silence. We spent the entire night awake. At sunrise, when the campus guard walked down the hall, we finally dared to open the door. No one was there, just muddy footprints, leading directly to our door. And then, they stopped. Right under my feet, inside the room, as if whatever left there never walked out. We climbed the stairs as fast as we could, but the floor vibrated slightly with every step, as if something was crawling up the stairwell behind us. We burst onto the rooftop, slammed the metal door shut, and locked it. For a moment, the only sound was our breathing. Then we heard it, tap tap tap. Knuckles on metal. He was knocking, as if politely asking to come in. My best friend was crying silently. The dorm leader bit her lip until it bled. "We have one chance," she whispered. "He came from a linkure dream. The number, the messages. If we want to survive, we must sever the connection." "How?" I choked out. She held out her phone flashlight. "Show me his number." My hands shook violently as I unlocked my phone. The moment his chat opened, the screen blurred, like something was breathing on the other side. He sent a single message, "I'm upstairs." The rooftop door handle rattled once, then twice, then it turned. Every hair on my body stood up. The dorm leader shouted, "Delete him, now." I pressed delete, but the phone hesitated. The bar froze halfway, like something was resisting. His voice whispered through the speaker, "Don't." The metal door behind us started to bend inward, denting like it was being punched. I screamed and slammed the delete button over and over. Suddenly the chat vanished, the number disappeared. The rooftop fell dead silent. We waited, 10 seconds, 20. The door stopped moving, the knocking stopped. The air warmed slightly. The shadows relaxed. Finally. He was gone, or so we thought. Because just as we turned to leave, my phone buzzed in my hand, a new message. From an unknown number with no digits, just one sentence. You can't delete what remembers you. And then, from behind the rooftop water tank, we heard one soft footstep. Last part. For the next few days we didn't sleep well. Even though the number was gone, even though we deleted the chat, I sometimes felt him watching from unseen corners. Not attacking, just waiting. The dorm leader insisted we needed answers. Without truth, she said, a connection never truly ends. So the three of us went to the only place rumored to have records of strange cases. The old archives room beneath the campus library. The librarian looked terrified when we asked for files about unusual WeChat numbers, phantom calls, or missing people. But after a long silence, she finally said, there was someone years ago. She brought out a dusty folder with a faded photograph inside. My heart dropped. It was him. The guy from my dream. The one I added on WeChat. Only this time, he was smiling normally like a living person. The librarian explained. He was a freshman, introverted, stayed in a damp, tiny boarding room off campus. People said he barely spoke to anyone, always looked lonely. My best friend whispered what happened to him. The librarian swallowed. He died in his room. They said it was a heart issue, but he wasn't discovered for days. Suddenly it made sense, the darkness, the silence, the midnight replies. He didn't video call because he didn't want us to see where he was. He didn't send voice notes because his real voice was gone. But there was something else inside the folder, a torn diary page. The last thing he ever wrote. As I read it, my hands trembled. I dreamed of a girl last night. I saw her face clearly. I remembered her number when I woke up. If she exists, maybe she won't ignore me. Maybe someone will finally talk to me. I almost cried. He didn't haunt me because he wanted to harm me, he just didn't want to be forgotten. The dorm leader touched my shoulder softly. You weren't cursed, she said, you were chosen, because you remembered him. The librarian exhaled. Spirits like his, they cling to unfinished longing. But if you face them calmly, they eventually let go. So that night, instead of running, hiding, or panicking, I did something different. I sat on my bed, turned off the lights, and whispered into the silence, I know your name now. I'm sorry you were so lonely. You don't have to stay anymore. You can rest. For a long moment there was no answer. Then a soft breeze moved through the room. My phone lit up by itself, not with a call, not with a message, but with a single notification. Connection ended. No number, no sender, just like that. The weight lifted, the shadows stopped following me, my nightmares faded. The next morning sunlight felt warm again. My dark circles disappeared. After a week my hair stopped falling. I could breathe freely. The dorm leader smiled. He wasn't evil, just lost. My best friend added, and now he found peace. And I knew she was right, because that night I dreamed of him one last time. Standing far away in a field of white light. He didn't come toward me. He didn't reach out, he just smiled, a real gentle, grateful smile, and then he turned around and walked into the light until he was gone forever. Life slowly returned to normal. My dark circles disappeared. My appetite came back. Classes didn't feel like a blur anymore. Sometimes late at night, I still paused before opening WeChat, half expecting the midnight message from an empty number. But nothing ever came. Instead, my phone felt quiet in a peaceful way, like a door finally closed. One afternoon, while walking past the old cherry blossom tree near the library, I felt a warm breeze brush my shoulder. Not cold, not heavy, just soft, like a thank you. A single petal drifted down and landed at my feet. I don't know why, but I picked it up and whispered, "Rest well," and the wind carried it away. From that day on, I stopped being afraid of the dark, because I finally understood. Not every haunting is a curse. Sometimes it's just a lonely soul asking to be seen. One last time, before it lets go. The end.